Hello and welcome to the Flow King of the Hill 2020. Yes, in October, but it's better late than never. Of course, due to COVID-19, the worldwide pandemic, the King of the Hill, coupled with the island's Blue Ribbon event, Soul Rally Barbados, had to be cancelled and rescheduled to October. This change in date and the ongoing pandemic significantly hindered these events in a number of ways, but that said, what the event lacked in quantity, it certainly maintained in quality, with a 46 competitor field, with drivers visiting from as far as United Kingdom. Before jumping into the hot seat, we caught up with a few of the drivers to get their take on the event and their competitive plans for the day. We first caught up with Rob Swann, who had recently arrived from the UK.
A few hoops to jump through to get here, but no, it was all good.
Is it 2 weeks in quarantine when you get back, or this one?
No, we're okay going back from here because obviously the island's in good shape, so we can head back to the UK. Currently, we don't have to quarantine when we return home. I mean, we will follow some protocol at home just to keep safe and look after everyone else. But otherwise, it was a well, it wasn't a stressful journey, but obviously we were apprehensive to get here and then quarantine for a couple of days and then a second test, but that was all fine. That's the plan. Obviously, last year we ran with some issues with the Subaru, as everyone knows, and I don't really want to repeat that and go back over that history, but the last two test events we did in the Fiesta have been good. We've been slowly building the speed, we've been changing a few things on the car, so today's about building on that again and push the car as hard as we can, but obviously also think about next weekend. So we'd like to come out on top today, but winning today isn't the same as winning the rally, so we'll be pushing hard. But it's such a short stage as well, and I think shorter than last year, so very, very difficult to make much of a difference. It's going to be really close, I think.
Running up to this event, motorsport fans seemed settled that Roger Hill would be the likely victor of the R5 class. We had a chance to get his impression on his and the car's performance thus far.
I'm glad that people have the confidence in me, but the R5 group is very, very competitive. I mean, 1/10 of a second will divide the first 3 or 4 cars. I think everybody's done very well. I'm happy with my transitioning so far from the WRC Corolla to this. The two cars are very different, suspension-wise, braking-wise, handling. This car is just an easier car to drive than the Corolla. I mean, the Corolla is 25-year-old technology. This is newer technology, so it's going to be easier, But so far we are enjoying it. It's nice to drive. It doesn't have the little oomph that the Corolla had. But it makes it up in the handling and the braking and everything like that. It's a difference in technology there for sure.
Just before heading to the stage, we also caught up with lone female driver Natia Sidine.
I actually did start in November last year, and I had about 3 races last year. This year, of course, with the issues that we're dealing with, this is basically the first rally I'm doing, and with the new baby that we just got in a few days ago, only was able to test drive it about 4 laps at Bushy Park yesterday. So not quite enough seat time in the cars as one would like. However, we go out there and do our best, right?
So off to the stage we go. Now this weekend will be similar to the 2019 Flow King of the Hill, being contested on the high-speed 3.3km Golden Grove to Stewart Hill stage, albeit in a slightly shortened format. So getting stuck in then, we start off with Rhett Watson and Bradley Weeks in their super-modified BMW M3. Giving the crowd a good show, they would edge out Paul Horton by just over 1 second to claim the top 10 overall spot. Just pipping Watson for 9th overall would be Andrew Jones and Lindsay Pilkington. Lindsay would actually go on to take the honours for the highest placed female competitor on the day. Jones had been less flamboyant than Watson, and this surely worked to his advantage. Let's just take a ride on board with them to see their fastest run of the day. Coming in 4th in the competitive R5 group and 8th overall would be David Coelho and Barry Warren. For most of the day, David illustrated that you really had to push within this competitive group for a good result, as shown in this section of the stage to the amazement of the local rally fans. Just pushing Coelho out of the top 3 spot for the group honours was Andrew Maloney and Jeffrey Goddard in their Ford Fiesta R5. Andrew would go on to show us that it takes all of the track and more to gain a podium in this ever-competitive class.
Manoeuvred around first by Maloney.
Fastest in Super Modified 2 and just outside of the top 5 with a 6 overall performance would be Barry Myers and Ben Norris in their rear-wheel drive Ford Fiesta, a crowd favourite amongst the Bajan locals. To the surprise of many of the fans and pundits, Roger Hill and Graham Gittins couldn't quite take the R5 overall honours in their Skoda R5. They narrowly missed out by 6/10 to R5 glory and settled for 5th position overall.
Great livery created for this car as well.
Taking the class honours in the hotly competitive R5 class would be Stuart Maloney and Christian Yearwood in their Skoda Fabia. Maloney's pace throughout the day shocked most of his rivals as this was his first ever closed road event in the car. Rounding off the highly competitive top 3 would be Rob Swann and Darren Garrett in their Ford Fiesta World Rally Car. Despite taking a fastest run time on the first and third runs, Swann would only be able to muster a fastest time 1.3 seconds off of the fastest time of the day. This would surely leave a lot to think about for next weekend's Rally Barbados event. Second overall would be Jeffrey Panton and Jason Cozier, who would surprisingly only take the one stage win on the day, which would come on their final run. However, this would not be good enough for the overall win as they accomplished in 2019.
Very tidily through the chicane, hard on the brake.
Taking the top spot would be Dane, Skeete and Tyler Mayhew in their 2019 sole Rally Barbados winning Subaru Impreza WRC. The pair had been a silent feature of this event, as most pundits contemplated the win to be either Swann or Panton's, but this win surely surprised most, including his rivals. Dane would secure the fastest time by 0.04 of a second and would set the stage for an exciting Rally Barbados in a week's time.
As the leader of the King of the Hill, there is
So then, what an exciting event if that top 10 is anything to go by. But we also want to take the time to look at the class winners who didn't quite make the cut into the top 10, as they all put in some great performances. So to kick things off, we turn to Jason Tull and Hugo Greaves, who took the Clubman 1 win in their trusty Peugeot 106. battling with some dengue fever over the weekend. Stewart Garcia and Rashid Smith would go on to take the Clubman 2-class win. Despite having a troublesome first run, Greg Cozier and Natasha Farnham would secure the top spot for Clubman 3. Lucky to compete in the event at all were Simon Nutter and Fiona Udale, who had to do an entire engine rebuild. They would go on to win the historic 1-class in their rear-wheel drive Toyota Corolla. Taking an impressive top 20 finish and first in Historic 2 was Wayne Archer and Moish Steinbock in their classic BMW. Despite not knowing if they would even start the event, and after having a part malfunction a mere 30 feet from the start on Run 1, Jamal Brathwaite and Dario Hoyt would secure a first place in the N2 class in their Honda Civic Type R. Next up, Sean Eversley and Darren Ashley in their heavily boosted Suzuki Swift. They finished 24th overall but managed to grab a Group B class win. Sitting pretty just outside the top 20 were Jermaine Pope and Aaron Curtin, who managed to snag the modified 1-class win in their Honda Civic. Just outside of the top 10, but taking a commanding class win in the Modified 3 was Owen Cumberbatch and Brandy Reed in their BMW M3. Last up are Neil Corbin and Matthew Staffner, who took the Super Modified 1 win in their Toyota Starlet. So there you have it. Dane, Skeete and Tyler Mayhew were crowned the Kings of the Hill for 2020, making for an exciting and hotly anticipated Seoul Rally Barbados in a week's time. Despite all the challenges presented by the COVID pandemic, the organisers were able to pull off a very successful Flow King the Hill, in what of course what were some very difficult circumstances. We would like to take this time to thank all of our sponsors and team members without whom this production would simply not have been possible, and of course thank you the viewer for watching. Please like and subscribe to Red265 Motorsport and hit the bell icon so you get notified of all future uploads on the channel. Also make sure to find us on Facebook and Instagram for all of the rallying action there is to come. In the meantime though, I've been Chris Reardon and I will see you next week for all the action Seoul Rally Barbados 2020 has to offer. Bye bye for now.